Alright, let's dive into a story that's equal parts infuriating and eye-opening. It's about academic freedom, political pressure, and the messy intersection of history, identity, and power. Here's the deal: an Israeli professor, Raz Segal, lost a prestigious job offer from the University of Minnesota after speaking out about Gaza. Now, years later, the university is paying him $250,000 in a settlement. But what's really fascinating and troubling is the why behind it all. Let's break this down. First, the hook. Imagine being a scholar, praised by your peers, only to have a job offer yanked because of your political views. Sounds like something out of a dystopian novel, right? But this is real life. Raz Segal, a historian specializing in the Holocaust and genocide, was tapped to lead the University of Minnesota's Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies. His credentials? Impeccable. One committee member even called his presentation breathtaking. But then, just 5 days after the offer, it was rescinded. Why? Because Segal had called Israel's actions in Gaza a textbook case of genocide. Now, personally, I think this is where things get really interesting. Segal isn't just any critic, he's Jewish, a dual Israeli-US citizen, and the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. In other words, he's someone who should, by all accounts, be a safe choice for a Holocaust studies center. But what many people don't realize is that his critique of Israel's actions isn't just a random opinion, it's rooted in his scholarly expertise. He's not just saying, this is bad. He's saying, this fits the legal definition of genocide. And that's a detail I find fascinating. It's not about emotion, it's about analysis. Yet, it cost him a job. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. The university didn't just change its mind out of the blue. Emails obtained by Segal through a public records request reveal a coordinated pressure campaign. Donors, legislators, and pro-Israel activists flooded the university with complaints. One donor even threatened to pull funding, saying, "We cannot allow someone like Raz Segal, a blatant anti-Zionist, to head the department." From my perspective, this raises a deeper question: when did academic institutions start letting external pressure dictate who gets hired? Isn't the point of academia to foster debate, even when it's uncomfortable? What this really suggests is that academic freedom isn't as free as we'd like to think. Segal's case isn't isolated. Dozens of scholars have faced backlash for criticizing Israel. But what makes Segal's story stand out is the settlement. $250,000 is a lot of money, and while it's not an admission of guilt, it's a pretty clear signal that the university knew it was on shaky ground. In my opinion, this settlement isn't just about Segal, it's a message to other scholars who've been silenced. Fight back. Your voice matters. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. Segal's critics accused him of justifying Hamas's actions, which he denies. His article actually condemns Hamas's attacks as mass murder. But here's the thing: you can condemn Hamas and still criticize Israel's actions. It's not an either-or situation. What many people don't realize is that Segal's position, that Israel's actions in Gaza amount to genocide, has since been endorsed by numerous scholars, human rights groups, and even UN officials. So, was he ahead of the curve? Or just saying what others were too afraid to say? One thing that immediately stands out is how identity played into this. Segal said the university leadership decided he was the wrong kind of Israeli and the wrong kind of Jew. That's a powerful statement. It highlights how critiques of Israel often get conflated with antisemitism, even when the critic is Jewish. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about Segal, it's about who gets to define Jewish identity and what it means to be pro-Israel. That's a conversation we're not having enough. Finally, let's end with a thought-provoking question: what does this mean for the future of academic freedom? If universities can be swayed by donor pressure or political backlash, where does that leave scholars who want to speak truth to power? Personally, I think this story is a wake-up call. It's not just about one professor or one university, it's about the integrity of academia itself. So, here's my challenge to you: next time you hear about a controversy like this, don't just take one side. Ask questions. Dig deeper. Because the truth is rarely black and white. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.